What's up? We're back today, baby. This is Issue 1 Podcast. I'm Ben Williamson.
Corey King here.
Corey, we need to stop messing up.
I know. We only did... This is only take number 2. We did 3 takes.
To be fair, that was only a minute long. Guys, this is not always off the cuff, right? Sometimes we make mistakes. It is always
most of the time
cuff.
we make mistakes.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you know what? We're
You know what's funny?
in the groove of it.
We'll make mistakes like an hour into the podcast, and we're like, I'm not editing it.
You know? We are very stubborn about like, I'm not fixing that.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going 30 minutes in this to find. And what's funny is we could very easily just look at like the time code and be like, oh, 30 minutes and 28 seconds. Fuck it.
No.
You
Yeah,
get to
not
see
doing
mistakes.
It. Exactly.
You know what, though? Does that make us authentic? Does that make us better than other podcasters who are fake?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
If we're being honest. Anyway, Ben, what's our topic on?
So this time we're doing...
You got this?
I don't know. Last time I said movies we changed our minds on.
No, that's the topic.
No, that is it.
The last time you said movies that changed our minds.
Which is true, but it didn't happen until later.
I mean, it's kind of not wrong because it did kind of change our minds. Like one I'll get into, BVS, kind of made me change my mind on some stuff.
So here's the deal. This is supposed to be... It's not always just black and white, right? Like, It's not always like we like the movie and then later we don't like the movie.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. I feel like there's an in-between with a lot of these movies that I'm seeing.
It also depends on, like, it can... A very specific scenario can appear where you're talking to somebody or you watch a clip of something or something will happen and it'll change your mind. Or over time you just go, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
By the way, we say cuss words. This is your cuss word warning in 3, 2, 1. Sometimes you just watch Hulk 2003 and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? This was great. You know?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Especially with Hulk.
First one, if you're ready to get into the topic, Ben, I don't want to rush you into anything. Like, we can take our time if you want. Okay. The first one that I put down was The Dark Knight Rises. At first, I did not like this movie.
Really?
You know what?
Think about the time that we saw it, though.
I saw it when I was like 14.
Yeah.
And
no, what?
Yeah.
I thought we were younger than that.
Came out in 2013.
Bro. Are you...
It's 10 years old this year. Oh, my God.
Bro, if it came out in 2013, I would have been 11. You would have been 12.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 12. Anyway.
See, that's what I mean. That's a big difference. 12 to 14 is even huge.
Kind of is.
Yikes.
Yeah, I forgot. I'm a year behind, not ahead. Yeah, I didn't like it at first. First of all, I said this in our review of it. We have a podcast on that, by the way, The Dark Knight Rises, if you want to go check that out.
We have a podcast?
We have a podcast. You didn't know we were recording right now? This is a podcast, Ben.
It's all just a joke.
It's all just a joke. We'll get into that
It's
one,
the
too.
Truman Show.
But I didn't watch
is that
The Dark Knight.
It is on our list.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
on
the
your
Truman
list.
Show is at the bottom. No, but The Dark Knight Rises I didn't see in theaters. For some reason, I missed that window, and I just didn't see it in theaters, even though I was incredibly hyped. And then I watched it with my mom's boyfriend at the time. And we were kind of just not taking it seriously. Like, we were getting up and making food in the middle and just fucking walking around and, you know, shit like that. So that kind of...
Again, you're 12.
And I was 12. So you know what my only thought was? Why is he so small? That was my only thought.
Who, Bane?
Yeah.
That's
and I was
funny.
like, what's up with this feckin' mask? Like, it's weird.
I didn't like the mask. I don't like the mask.
Yeah.
Still.
I've grown to, like, kind of like it in a weird multiverse way. Like...
It makes sense for what's happening.
For the world that it's in.
Maybe.
But I feel like they still could have just gave him a Bane mask.
They still could have given him Bane mask.
Actually, this is the kind of villain that you very easily could just adapt into not being. Like, if you can adapt Scarecrow into real life or whatever Chris Nolan was going for, could have just done Bane. I mean, he did. He did Bane's, like, his personality and his motives and things like that. Kind of.
Why did they just mess with the whole toxin, or what am I saying?
The Venom thing?
Venom thing.
Probably because it just wasn't too real enough. Probably that.
I guess. But what is this? What is it?
Well, it's supposed to be, so...
It injects him with pain medicine, right? Or, like, he inhales pain medicine.
It's like pain medicine, yeah. But also at the same time, whenever Batman...
Why isn't it just smelling salts? Where people go, whoa!
It probably is, honestly. That's probably what makes him such a crackhead. But remember whenever Batman breaks one of the the tubes, like one of the valves or whatever, and he's like, but he starts getting like smaller.
Does he?
Yeah, because his clothes starts getting really baggy and shit.
Oh my god, he does.
So I'm like, does it still provide him with strength a little bit?
They don't know what they're thinking.
Maybe it was kind of like, what?
Just do the Venom then.
Well, sometimes Bane does have like a version of the mask where like it pumps some respiratory shit into it.
Yeah.
So maybe they're doing a form of that. Just explain it if that's what you're doing. I don't think they know.
I kind of am getting tired of just not committing. A lot of like key. It's not a key thing of the movie, I wouldn't say. Mm-hmm. But like, just cool details people just don't commit on
for whatever reason.
Movies. It's like, look, you're probably gonna have somebody hate it one way or another. So why don't you just do it?
There's still a way to do real life-ish, grounded, whatever, and still commit to things. The Batman, he has a fucking collar.
Yes. He looks like Dracula.
He looks like Dracula.
Yeah.
And they did it. They just fucking went for it, and it worked out. So I don't know what I don't know what their fucking problem is. But and I also put down here Shazam, which Ben will be watching this week in preparation for Shazam 2, and then we'll end up combining those into a podcast.
Not this week, my guy.
Yeah, whatever, man. Right. See, I'm flying out tomorrow morning. It's really late. It's like 10 o'clock. So, we're doing some recording ahead. We're doing good. We're getting ahead of schedule.
Exactly.
But, we're going to end up doing a little collaboration of Shazam and Shazam 2. Assuming that Shazam 2, I love David F. Sandberg. I love the Shazam family. I love that shit. But assuming that there won't be, like, so much to talk about that we can't put those two together. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then the next one is X-Men Origins Wolverine. Ben, I feel like...
I'm pretty sure as a kid I really liked it.
I really liked it.
Except for the Deadpool part. Still, as a little kid.
As a kid, I oddly liked that too. I think I thought it was a cool concept, but I didn't think he was...
You know what? As a kid, I think I might have too. I just liked the idea that Deadpool got in a movie at all.
I think that's how I felt. Like. I think I felt that, and I was like, and they committed to the teleportation, and they added a cool detail, which is the swords come out of his hands.
Although I think
which is totally not dumb.
I don't know though, because I always had my dad chirping in my ear that was like, no, this is balls, because he was like, he can't even talk. You know what?
Yeah.
I probably took my dad's side because I always did as a little kid, because who doesn't? And I was like, that's funny, because I was like,
man.
He was always like, he doesn't even have a mouth. Like, he's called the Merc with a mouth. And I was like...
That phrase actually is very funny when you think about that movie.
Yeah. It is pretty funny. So that...
They deadass took away one of his key elements.
It's so sad that that's, like, the first thing people think of when they think of that movie. Is how shitty Deadpool was. Well,
it's funny because at the end... Well, I didn't know post-credit scenes existed. So X-Men The Last Stand has a tease of Professor Xavier being alive, and then that, and he goes, shh.
I forgot about that.
Or maybe he just goes,
he like crawls like, it looks like the new Wednesday hand, and then he goes,
looks like idle hands. Yeah.
Bro.
Strawberries. Yeah, I loved it for some reason. And then one day I was like, this might be a bad movie. This might be a bad movie. I still love it in a weird way.
Watch it though.
But I kind of love it, but also I love it because it's bad and it's fun.
You know what's strange?
It's fun.
You know what one of my favorite parts of that movie is? The intro, like the where they're going through time,
through the wars.
Yeah,
that's an actual good sequence.
That's a good sequence.
I think X-Men Origins Wolverine has actual good elements in it. Like, I think the story in itself is not a bad story.
Although, you know what's bad about that sequence?
What?
Think of Victor's run.
When he's crawling.
Oh.
And then at one point they freeze frame and he's like, yeah. He's coming out like a bunker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
And I said this.
Also, sorry, go ahead.
I said this in our podcast about X-Men Origins Wolverine. But if he's doing that to be more like a Sabretooth, shouldn't Wolverine also be doing that? Just with his claws, though, like,
yeah, bro. Is it just me, or did that movie make it really, really confusing? As if, does Victor have healing too?
yes. I always just assumed he did, but there were moments.
I'm gonna cut your goddamn head off.
I'm gonna cut you.
We'll see how that works.
See how that works. Yeah. But
does
you know what also confused me is I was like, this was one of the first times I noticed continuity, and I was like, so if this is the same Wolverine, then this means this is the same Sabretooth. But why do they not fucking say anything to each other in X-Men 1?
Yeah.
I didn't understand the idea of a prequel really back then. You know? I couldn't wrap around my head.
Technically the same Sabretooth, or do they not even know?
Yes, it is. But I don't... You know what it is? It is, but they're never going to mention it.
Yeah.
Liev Schreiber should come back and do Sabretooth one more time. Deadpool 3.
I think so.
Let him do one more. Give him some long hair. Give him a mullet.
I think he looks fine.
He does look fine. But if they can make the long hair work, they should do it.
Yeah, I guess if he was more like an old man Logan style, but of Sabretooth.
Yeah, sure.
It'd be
Whatever.
cool.
Anything. Just anything. I'll take anything with him as Sabretooth.
So what are they going to do with Wolverine and Deadpool 3, by the way?
Here's what I re-listened to our podcast where we were talking about what that trailer will be. And it was, the whole thing about how it'll be screaming and gunshots, and then somebody will hit a wall, and then Wolverine will come out and pop a claw, and then Deadpool will be like, what the fuck? And then it'll end or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's also a chance that it won't do that whole build-up where Wolverine is teased at the end. It might just start off with these two just driving together, full outfits and everything. And Deadpool's like putting his feet up on the dash. He's like, get your fucking feet off the dash. So... but it's supposed to be some sort of road trip between them. But
I think
it'll
get
be like,
right into it.
I think it'll be like a multiverse road trip rather than a road trip of like, let's go to Wilmington, fucking Virginia.
He has that stupid time travel device now. So
he does. Maybe they'll go back into. Maybe they'll make Wolverine go back in time again.
Oh, bro, what if this is how they? What if this is how they retcon every X-Men movie? X-Man.
This could be it. They could do a thing where Deadpool fucks up the timeline, because that seems like something Deadpool would do. Fucks up the whole timeline to the point where everyone's rebooted, Wolverine dies again, or just that timeline is erased. And then at the end of the movie, it's like, who are these fucking dweebs? And it's new X-Men. And they've got fucking trench coats.
So what's also cool about this is there's absolutely going to be time travel in Deadpool 3. Mm-hmm. Mock everyone's words.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson's character is Mobius, right? That's his name?
No, it's Morbius.
Morbius.
No, it's Mobius.
I know.
You knew where I was going.
I'm pretty sure it's not going to be, that whole like time.
The TVA.
Yeah, the TVA. Mm-hmm. They're going to end up taking Deadpool. I like that theory. A bunch of people came up with that, I'm pretty sure.
It's a good idea. I mean, it would be weird if they didn't, because they set up the perfect thing.
Yeah, and it would play right into Kang.
Yeah, and I could see, like, it does seem like a Deadpool thing to get stopped by the TVA.
It does.
And
I feel like he wouldn't even try and fight him. He'd just be like, ah.
I think Deadpool and Loki could actually have very interesting conversation. I could see those two interacting.
Wow, we gotta make a podcast about that, or interactions we want to see.
True,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or on a What We Want Wednesday if we ever do those again.
It's funny. Well, it's funny because sometimes we'll sit there and we'll talk about Endgame and Infinity War, and sometimes I'll look back and I'll go, "Holy fuck, these two characters never talked even once."
Yeah,
Captain Marvel and Iron Man, not a word.
For real.
She saved him, and they did not have any words.
You know what? Respect to Iron Man, because I wouldn't want to talk to her.
She's all right.
Well, we should probably get back on topic. Hulk, 2003.
Ang Lee's The Hulk. What are we, some sort of The Hulk?
This is one that I have absolutely changed my mind on.
Big time. Big time.
For a way better.
For the way better.
Which is funny because the last time I saw it, before we saw it to review it for this podcast, I was like a little kid. And I didn't really like it then. But I think it's because I had the option between that or Incredible Hulk.
Yeah. And you get more smashy with
you just get more smashy, am I right?
And that movie, I thought about putting on this list because I like that movie a lot at first, and I think it's a bad movie now.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I really liked it. You know what got them to? You know what got me to love that movie? Honest to God, small detail. They fucking referenced Hulk Ultimate Destruction whenever he tore the car in half and used them as boxing gloves. That single moment had me like, oh, this is great.
Yep. No.
It's not really that good.
No.
It's not very good at all,
And then
actually.
that's all you could do. Remember the next game that came out that was just called Incredible Hulk?
I played that game and beat it.
It was for the movie.
Bro, that is an empty-ass world.
God awful.
You know what it feels like? Have you played that game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Going through that city feels like Spider-Man Web of Shadows.
I thought it was gonna be like, oh my god, this is the next Hulk. It's gonna be even better than Ultimate Destruction. It's a whole lot worse. Ultimate Destruction, honestly, sets a huge bar.
It has a lot of the same mechanics, though. That's what's strange.
It does, but it doesn't do anything different.
No.
I think the only thing you can do is like punch down a building now.
Yeah, and even that's unsatisfying.
It looks horrible.
Because you punch it 6 times and then it just folds in like a fucking tent. It's like...
And then you're left with a little like pile on the ground or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a big gray rubble.
Yeah.
And you can't even punch that.
But it's never on the complete ground. For some reason, the first 2 stories always stayed up. Remember that?
Yes!
Because you'd have to jump up and then the rubble would be on the top.
That's the part you could just never destroy.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
I remember punching the crap out of the first and second stories.
And you do that like hold punch where he's like...
Yeah. Boom. Boom.
Yeah.
Bro,
that's funny.
They trolled us hard.
But you know what I did love in Hulk, in Incredible Hulk versus Ultimate Destruction? What? They kind of leveled out the ragdoll physics a little bit more.
Oh my god!
So you just go to the top of a building and you just punch a girl like 100 miles. Just some sweet old ladies waiting for the bus stop, and you just fucking run to the top of a building.
I always loved throwing people. That wouldn't even happen in a game today. They wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't allow you to grab an old lady, go up to the top of a building, and throw her.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Why?
We need a Homelander game.
Oh my god, that'd be good.
Could you imagine a Hulk game where if you jumped into a tall building with enough force, you just knocked it over?
Or like smashed through it? Can we get games where you actually go through?
That's true.
Like the actual buildings instead of them just being objects?
I do understand that the problem with
Spider-Man.
that is all that rendering that
I get it, but imagine...
But figure it out.
But they keep saying, oh, the next consoles where there's going to be no loading times, absolutely 0, and then we're sitting there waiting on loading times.
Bro, I was playing your PlayStation 5 the other day. I was playing Just Cause 4 for whatever reason.
Yeah, well,
I got stuck on a loading screen and quit the game.
Yeah. Yeah. So Hulk 2003, I definitely look back fondly now.
You want to get to one that I loved as a kid and now I kind of strongly dislike?
No, not yet. We're still on Hulk.
Oh, sorry.
You know what I like most about Hulk, actually?
What?
I didn't remember this. He straight up punches that dog in the balls.
Oh, that dog fight's actually pretty good and tense. But there's just some moments where he punches a dog in the nuts and then throws one into a tree and turns it to vapor.
To dust. To vapor.
It's like... It's just gas immediately.
Why is that movie better? You know what half of it is? Why we like that movie better now than as a kid? The score is actually really good.
The Danny Elfman... That might be my favorite Danny Elfman score, period.
Ooh, that's a hot take, but I think I might agree.
Because Spider-Man's close, but Hulk... Honest to God...
Spider-Man means more to me, but Hulk 2003 hits me differently.
Spider-Man means... The score for Spider-Man means more to me, and I can listen to more tracks off that album. Yeah. Hulk, really, except for a couple of the tracks that have to do with that same theme of whatever. They're kind of not that good. It's just
like
kind
the
of
deserty
whatever.
ones. There's like deserty
I
ones
hate
too,
all
where they're
that
like,
whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. See, but the theme, I think it's a better theme than Spider-Man. The theme is 100% agree. So good. Yes. It portrays danger and caution and sorrow and fear so fucking well. Literally the feeling that song gives me is exactly what it should, which is, please run. I'm afraid I'm gonna fucking destroy everything.
Plus, with the opening sequence, for some reason that just works so well.
Yeah,
like when he's
cutting the star, and some white shit comes out.
Oh, yeah. Why does he do that to a starfish?
I don't know.
I know why, but
because he's an insane man.
Yeah.
And then you get the little kid,
also
Bruce with the animals.
he does really good. Like, he kind of carries that movie.
Nick
the
Nolte's
villain.
the best part about
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay, sorry. The theme is the best part about that movie.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte might be the best part about that movie, though,
Oh.
for real, though.
I don't know. We're forgetting.
Jennifer
We're
Connelly.
forgetting about our crush.
I still have a
Jennifer
crush on
Connelly.
her. Listen,
Yeah.
if you're ever trying to leave the vision, let me know.
That's
What an odd choice, but good for them.
I never pictured that together, but
Nope,
you know
neither
what?
did I.
They both seem like very smart, intelligent people, though. So
Yeah, they do.
we'll give them that.
But goddamn, like, I don't know. I think now that I'm an adult, as a kid, you don't really give a fuck about, like, oh, you have trauma, fucking get over it. But then you grow up and you're like, oh, he has hidden trauma. Like, the idea of Hulk is based around suppressed trauma. And that's like
Yeah.
such an incredible theme. Oh. You know, and that's some of the
It's such
only
an incredible
parts,
Hulk theme.
It's an the only things that I like about Dark Phoenix are the suppressed trauma tidbits. Those are the only parts that I really even like in that movie. And Hulk is all that. And Ang Lee also tried some shit. The comic book panel things, I like it. People don't like it.
I think it works really well for what the movie is.
People don't like. I like it.
I think it's fun.
I fucking like it. You know what I don't like?
You know
though?
what though? Spider-Man, Sam Raimi, kind of does that. Though.
He did that, yeah, a little bit, yeah, for sure.
Nowhere
Especially
near as
the way he starts in the corner of that spider web literally looks like the opening shot to like. I think that's actually like an opening shot of a Spider-Man comic book, maybe even the first one or something. But anyway,
maybe
it's just fantastic. I kind of miss old 2000s superhero movies, except if you're ready to move on.
I'm ready. Actually,
Daredevil 2004.
Ouch.
I
Bad.
loved that movie as a
It is
kid.
so bad.
I watched it all the time. My sisters are massive Evanescence fans, or they used to be. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to throw shade. They used to be. I don't know if they still are, but I remember getting into a fight with them because I would be like yelling at them to turn their music down or whatever, and they'd be like, "We were in here first or whatever." I was like, I remember because I yelled at them once, and I was like, that lady stole that song from Daredevil or whatever. And they were like, technically, they stole it from us or whatever. And I got in a fight with them about it.
Wow.
I don't know why I'm fighting for that song in that movie, though. It's a weird. God, even the opening credits, like, is so weird.
If you want to laugh really hard, go watch our review or listen to our review on Daredevil.
That's one of those movies.
Although, was it funny? Because I think we might have just dogged on it.
We did just dog on it, but that it was fun.
It was fun.
That movie, I genuinely don't mind watching it, but it's not a good movie. It's not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird shit in there. Still, the thing that bothers me the most is that opening credits. Whenever it's the blueprints of the city, but it's like buildings,
God.
and the lights turn into Braille, and then it says Ben Affleck or whatever, and it says cast. Real weird. They tried to do Spider-Man, and no, no fucking no. That came out the same year as Spider-Man 2. Imagine that. Yeah, because Spider-Man 2 is 2004. Yeah.
That's strange, actually.
Isn't that a bummer? Or maybe it came out in 2003. Daredevil, I mean. No, I think it's 2004. Anyway.
Man, Marvel fans were living it up at that point.
Were they, though? Because they got the worst, like, bullseye outfit ever.
I think at that point...
I don't even think cosplayers have done that.
I think at that point, though, Marvel movies were so, like, early that everybody's like...
Just happy to hear. They probably cheered in the theater whenever he doesn't kill, but he pushes Bullseye out of a window and he falls onto a cop car and he goes, Bullseye. People were probably like, yeah!
Bro, recently I saw on YouTube, it was like a YouTube short, it was a real movie theater reaction from Spider-Man 1.
I have seen that too.
It's pretty funny.
It's kind of wild.
The audience was really strange, though.
Yeah.
The audience was really strange. They were like laughing at the weirdest things. It was funny.
That was
so funny.
Imagine watching that for the first time. I was watching videos the other day of the premiere of Spider-Man. Everybody was there. It was crazy. I remember thinking that Spider-Man was like an underground thing. No, premiere, bro,
100%.
Everybody was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard to think about movies like before our time, really.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of wasn't. Well, I mean, it came out quite literally before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to imagine just people going to the theaters back then for some reason for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, you know what's weird is back then, making a superhero movie was taking a chance, a big chance. Nowadays,
just give me a chance.
What about Everything Everywhere at Once? Did you give it a chance? Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that movie's just bad. Some of the action's not bad, except for that
movie?
Daredevil.
Oh, you jumped around a little bit. I was like, Everything Everywhere All at Once is not a bad movie.
Oh, no, it's a great movie.
Okay.
The only thing about that Daredevil fight stuff that I don't like is whenever he fucking grapples to a ceiling fan. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And twirls around for a good, 3 rotations.
Yeah, fucking A right, he does. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a good movie, man.
No.
Kevin Smith's in it. You know what I do like in that movie that I think's actually underrated? Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. I actually like that Kingpin.
I don't know. I just like the scene where he's a little kid with his stick and he's kind of learning to fight, if I remember correctly.
At this point, he just kind of knew.
Yeah.
You know what it was? Because he, again, I said this in the review, because he just went on rooftops and fucking practiced karate and flips.
They really tried to do Karate Kid, but a short version.
Yeah.
In Daredevil.
They did it real fast. And what's funny is the bullies who were threatening to kick his ass and stuff, he's pushing him out of the way. And then there's a little black kid in the back that didn't say shit and he fucking kicks him in the face.
Yeah, he does.
I'm like, the fuck?
Man, even when you're blind, you're not colorblind.
He's like, I don't see color.
That's fine.
I see justice. That's some shit he would say.
Wow.
And the next one that I had, because I know you don't have any experience with this, was the Adam West Batman movie, Batman 66.
Is that the goofy ones with where they're surfing?
You just can't some days you just can't get rid of a bomb. He says that once because he's carrying a bomb and he'll run over to one side of the pier and there'll be a bunch of nuns and he'll run to the other side. Then there'll be a bunch of school kids or whatever. See, as a kid,
that's actually pretty funny.
I loved it. It's goofy. As a kid, I loved it. And I used to get it out of this thing called the Library Mobile, which I don't know if you ever had that. But it's whenever basically the library sends a van filled with...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And I never did it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
They pull up at your school, and then you can rent books and some movies. And I rented that Batman 66 one. My friend, Cullen, his mom ran the library mobile or whatever. She, yelled at me once and was like, you need to fucking give it back. Because I just kept renting it over and over and over again. She's like, you need to let some of the other kids rent it if they want to. So I would have to take a week off. No one would take it. Next week I'd take it.
That's funny.
I never rented any books whenever they did it. I only did the movies. But I loved it as a kid. And then I turned 15 and I was like, Adam West is so fucking stupid. It's just all, whatever. It's so goofy. They don't even know that it's goofy. They know it's goofy.
Oh, they know.
It's intentional. It's supposed to be comic book goofiness. He's saying, holy fucking camoli, Batman, or whatever. Shit like that.
My cannolis.
My cannolis, Batman.
Wow.
But I rewatched Batman 66 randomly at 3 a.m. a couple months ago, and I watched it. I had a great time. It's a good movie. I like it a lot.
Wow.
I like a lot. It's a fun time. They knew what they were doing. I liked it so much that I just went, fuck it. And I watched the animated Adam West Batman movies. Both of them are really solid, too. I really enjoyed them.
I feel like that's what it's meant to be, is a cartoon.
It is. It's meant to be exactly what comics were back then. And I think they fucking nailed it.
In the 60s?
Yeah. And it's funny, so.
I can't even blame you because I bought the first 100 episodes of SpongeBob and I've been enjoying it.
My man.
And that's goofy.
I've been thinking about going back through Batman 66 and watching it all because it's just a good time.
Yeah.
It's just some relaxing. You don't need to go, oh my God, what's the next clue? It's probably the Swiffer in the corner or whatever. It doesn't take a whole lot of thought and it's just fun. It's just fun. It's people dressed in spandex going, haha, Batman, I'm the Riddler. That's great. Frank Gorshin's great.
Yeah.
So, anyway, on to the next one, Ben.
Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, how'd you feel about that?
What's funny is I watched it and I was like, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
And I was actually trying to convince you. I was like, you didn't like it.
You had me fucked up.
You didn't like it at first. You actually came out of that and you went, I did not like that. And I went, oh, come on, dude. Come watch it with us again.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to see it again.
Wait a minute. I think I might have this backwards.
No, you're right.
Did I see it first?
I saw it first.
No, I know that. But did I see it before we saw it together?
No.
So the first time I saw it
was with me.
Okay, so I didn't have my mind made up yet. Mm-hmm. And then it was after the movies. After the movies, you're kind of pumped up and you're still talking, bro, that part was cool, that part. And then on the drive home, you're like...
I think you're just like, oh, okay, yeah.
No, on the drive home, you're like, that sucked.
Yeah. See, post-theater, like going straight out of the theater, I was like, oh, you know what? There were some good moments or whatever. I'll explain my side of the story.
Yeah, see, this is what happened. You watched it.
I got fucked up.
Let me explain to him real quick. Mm-hmm. Corey watched it first. Mm-hmm. With, like, your friends, right? Mm-hmm. Your other friends.
My friend Austin.
Your other friend. You have other friends.
Just the one.
And then I waited for you to watch it with me and Chloe.
Right.
So
Which I did not want to do.
So after the first time you saw it, you're like, dude, I didn't like it.
But there's a detail there you're missing, too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Midway through, I had food poisoning.
Oh, that's right.
And I started feeling not good
through the first one, right?
The last hour or so, I didn't feel very good. I felt weird, like the last 40 minutes probably. And so I was just like, yeah, I don't like this. It really changed my opinion. And then whenever I went to go see it with you, then coming straight out of it, I was like, okay, we were still sitting in the seats.
Yeah.
I went, okay, that's not as bad as I remember. To be fair, my expectations for Thor: Love and Thunder were through the roof, and yours were in the fucking toilet. So I think we just got compressed.
Yeah.
You know, it took out our highs and our lows, and we both met here.
We met in the middle, but then the middle over time kept going down. Going down.
Yeah, we kind of zoomed out. We were like, oh, that's the bottom, actually.
And don't think we didn't try it again, by the way, guys. Remember that? Yeah. We did try it again.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
No, bro, that was not 2 weeks ago.
Or was that like a week ago?
Bro.
It was pretty recent.
No, that was like 3 months ago now.
Really?
Oh, my God. Your time is so skewed. It's
Bro, I felt like that was like January.
That's hilarious. 2 weeks ago?
It's okay.
We're in March, my guy.
It's okay. It's okay. January, February, somewhere in there. Somewhere in there, we tried to watch Thor: Love and Thunder together again to be like, okay, let's just see what happens. Again, I didn't want to watch it then, but you were like, let's just try it. And I was like, I'm never not down to watch a superhero movie, even if it's a bad one. But how far did we get into it? And then we just stopped.
We didn't get much past the Guardians part.
I think, did we get to the Gore Village part?
We did.
I think we stopped right after that. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. That's still Act 1.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's a bad movie. I'll be honest. That might be my least favorite MCU thing. It's in my bottom 3 or 4 things.
Bottom.
My bottom 3 or 4 things. It's bad. I don't know. It wasted Christian Bale. Lady Thor shows up.
The silence is what's speaking for Christian Bale. He's silent.
I promise
about that movie.
I guarantee that right now he has a thing with his manager, which is the whole like, if they bring up any MCU stuff, it has to get edited out, and you get to speak up and say, hey, we're not talking about that. Have you seen those interviews lately of actors doing that? I mean, I've always known that's a thing, but especially recently, they've been hounding Michael B. Jordan to be like, so we heard that you're potentially part of a Val Zod, situation at HBO Max with DC, and every time the manager would be like, nope, done.
Really?
Don't say anything. And then he'd be like, yeah, we're not talking about that. And then Michael B. Jordan was in good spirits. He's like, hey, that was a good effort, man, and like knuckle touched him and whatever, but I guarantee Christian Bale has one of those about talking about that movie. Because I bet he doesn't. And he also probably doesn't want to talk about the Terminator Judgment Day thing either.
Yeah.
He freaked out.
Oh, yeah. No. If somebody were to ask him about the whole blown up on Bruce thing, he would. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that was.
It's kind of like. It's like when Robert Downey Jr. is like asked about like his past, and he's like, "Are we done here?" Remember that? Have you seen that one?
Yeah. And he's like, bye. And he just walks away.
I loved that interview.
Well, it was great.
So funny.
I remember.
And the guy's like, what?
Yeah. And I remember I didn't know about that. And my grandparents told me about that like that year, that day. Because it was being talked about on fucking the news or whatever. And I woke up and was sitting at the couch or whatever. And then he was like, you should see this. Robert Downey Jr., they started asking about his past. And he, good on him. He left and whatever. Yeah. Why are you talking about that? Yeah. You have no reason. You know, it's the same thing as being
They're
like
just trying to pull dirt on somebody again.
And it's also like they're always just trying to get that stupid, like, fucked up shot of you talking about some shit. And it's like,
You know, the only respectable thing about it is that it was in person and not over Twitter.
true.
Because how many people are trying to cancel over Twitter? Do it in person.
It's the same weird thing as like,
the
hey,
person a real
Anne
response.
Hathaway, can you wear underwear and bras under that Catwoman outfit?
Yeah, that one's also stupid.
They asked Scarlett Johansson the same thing. It's
Yeah.
like, why the fuck do you need to know?
Yeah.
You know?
Is that your cable? Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Some interviews are just rude as fuck. Anyway, Thor: Love and Thunder is not a good movie.
It's not a good movie. And I think that's solidified now. It's not going to change.
It's top. I keep wanting to
top
say
bottom.
top bottom.
Right.
Goddamn bottom
It's the
tier.
bottom of the bottom.
It's the bottom of the boat, the bottom of the barrel.
Go ahead,
if you
give
will.
us our next one.
Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. I'll kind of group these together. See, I watched Man of Steel in theaters with my grandfather, and I liked it a lot. But the ending when he snaps Zod's neck,
You hate that part, don't you? You hate that
I don't
part.
mind it now.
Oh, no?
And,
You hated that part. Even when I knew you. You're like, this kind of ruins the whole thing. And then maybe that's changed within the last year.
well, so what it is, as a kid, I think I was just used to superheroes just killing people. So whenever he snaps Zod's neck and cries, I remember asking my grandpa in the theater, I was like, why is he crying? I asked him that, and he went, because he's sad that he had to snap his neck. And I was like, he was a bad guy. Who cares? You know? And then over time, I think I started to appreciate it a little bit. And in some ways, I'm still like, I don't know if he should have snapped Zod's neck. It's the way he does it. It's kind of fucked. Like, if you're going to kill somebody,
Isn't it the Weekly Planet that say, if you're that strong, why didn't you just move his head?
it's Cosmonaut Variety Hour.
Okay.
Yeah. That he was like, yeah, they just talked about if you're really strong enough to snap his fucking neck and leave a shockwave after, surely you can just turn his head.
Or just put your hand in front of his
Mm-hmm.
eyes.
But over time, I kind of, I understood that the reason he snaps his neck is not because he's about to laser those people. It's because he
stop.
tells them to stop and he says never.
Yeah.
So he just goes for it. And I also do kind of like the idea that it tears him up inside. He hates that he just did that. It was the same as him whenever he lasers the ship where Zod's like, if you destroy the ship, you destroy Krypton. And as he's about to laser them, he kind of relaxes the lasers and thinks about it. And then he gears them back up and he yells, Krypton had its chance. There's confliction in him. And that's the things that I do like about Man of Steel is that he's a man who's just conflicted. You know?
He's a man of steel.
He's a man. He goes to a preacher to ask the preacher what he should do if he should turn himself over to Zod. And that speaks volumes to me. That a man who can do more than any of us will ever be able to do in our lifetime went to a preacher. They look at him as a god, and he goes to a preacher to ask God what he should do. You know, and those kind of things spoke volumes to me, and it made me appreciate that movie. And now I love that movie. I love that movie.
Yeah.
And especially Batman v Superman, I hated that movie at first.
That's crazy, actually.
Like, so I saw it in theaters twice. And even after the second time, like after the first time, I was like, I don't know how I felt about that. Because it was just such a weird, it's just not what I expected. It's not what anybody expected. So I watched it a second time in theaters. And I was just kind of like, I was like, why is there so much of Batman and Superman not fighting? Like, it's kind of boring for the first good bit of it.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even get the fighting part till Act 3, really.
What bothered me most is, like, you don't get to see Batman doing a whole lot of Batman stuff. It's the warehouse scene, and that's kind of it. He kind of just runs away from Doomsday for the most part. And
or is in his stupid, like, flymobile thing.
yeah, his Batwing.
Yeah, Batwing.
But I stand by this.
I don't like Batwing.
The Batman and Superman fight in that still, even though I have changed my mind on it, I don't love that fight between them.
You don't?
No.
I love that
because it's so like, it's really sloppy in a way.
It's sloppy and
It's
slow.
clunky.
It's clunky, slow, and
I like some of the things that happen.
here's my favorite parts.
Mm-hmm.
Is maybe just the one part that I really like. Really, really like.
Yeah.
And it's where he has the gas grenade.
Yes.
or whatever, and then Superman catches it and goes in his face. I love that whole atmosphere.
That's a great moment. And I also love whenever he catches the fist and says, "You're not brave." Catches the fist. Men are brave.
You know what?
That's a great
You're
line.
right. The choreography almost is really bad.
It's just weird because they take the entire fight between a man that can fly and a man that can grapple around a city away from Doomsday, and they take the fight in a building.
Like in a Spider-Man 1, like, last battle of building.
He uses a sink over Superman's head at one point. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He's like, ugh. I do like the moment where he swings Superman around. I don't know why, but I just do. And I think it's just because he's dragging Superman, and this fucked up dark version of Batman's like, I bet your parents taught you were special, but my parents taught me a different lesson, dying in the gutter for no reason. And he's just ready to fucking kill Superman, which I hate that's what I have to say, because that's what the movie's about. Mm-hmm. But I think over time, I just kept rewatching it. Just for some reason, I think I just wanted to love it. So I just kept rewatching it and watching it. And finally, I got some different perspectives. And I finally started reading some comics and stuff. And I was like, you know what? This is a multiverse situation.
I like
this
the
is
rewatch.
not.
Listen, I like the rewatchability of that movie.
Yeah.
There's so much complexity going on with so many different stories happening at once that I could rewatch it and just keep having fun with it, I think.
Sometimes it can be too much for people, and I understand. But for
100%.
me,
it was for me the first time.
I think it is just a movie that is not meant for everyone. Really. A superhero movie that's not meant for everyone. But
I think that's how superhero movies should be.
Should be. Yes, for sure.
I don't think movies should be meant for everyone, because then you miss a whole target of what's your direction.
Then nobody's getting anything that they love. Everybody's getting okay.
This is the problem with Ant-Man Quantumania, which is a movie that we didn't change our mind on, by the way. We just didn't like it that much. It's a movie that
big swing.
Is for everyone.
I just would rather take a valiant, just big swing at something, you know? And Batman v Superman feels like a big swing.
There's a reason a lot of people hate the Batman, because it's not for everyone.
It's not. You know what? And I've accepted it. It's not.
No. Like, I don't like convert. That's why I don't like trying to convert people over to, like, dude, I really love this artist or whatever. It's not worth it.
Oh, sorry, not that. I meant the Batman.
Well, yeah, but
you know
that's what I mean. It's the same vein.
And those Batman fan groups, sometimes I just lose my shit. I'm telling you.
But there's no point. It's just like a political argument.
There is no point.
It's
and
like
it is like that.
It's like you're just going to... They're always going to think the same thing.
It's a waste of time.
And unless they have an open mind and they are willing to actually change.
Which they don't most of the time.
Most people don't, no.
But in a way, I'm not open to changing my mind.
What's this whole podcast about?
Well, then there you go.
Us changing our mind on stuff.
That's true. I guess I am open to changing my mind. Like, I think I'm just firm in my decision on that.
Like, someday... Maybe you won't like the Batman that much when you come back to it.
Could be. Could happen.
Like what happens when the Batman 2 comes out. It's like,
it won't.
Way killer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. And maybe I'm like, you know what? That's all right. But this is the real shit. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I felt. And I'm honestly...
That's how I want to feel, though. I want that to happen.
For sure.
Because that means things are progressing.
Progressing and getting better.
Yeah.
And I like, honest to God, I am so glad that I finally just got to love these movies. Because, you know, it came out in 2016. Probably 2018 is right around when I was like, oh, I'm starting to like, first of all, the theatrical cut and the extended cut completely changed things. The extended cut actually shows you things you need to know about how Lex set things up and whatever. Yeah. And honestly,
God, is it
long? Yeah, true. And I just understood the movie more. I understood the version of Batman we're given and how it's not regular Batman. It's older, jaded, fucked up Batman who's finding his way back. And, you know, it's a younger Superman who's still learning and who's trying to find accountability in himself. Yeah. And I love it. I genuinely love it. And I'm glad I can say that, you know?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to not like superhero things coming out as far as Superman fans, superhero fans. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to let you hit this next one because I don't know if you ever change your mind on it, but I know you've.
I didn't change my mind on Ghost Rider.
Okay, cool.
Ghost Rider.
You never liked it?
No. I never liked it. I never liked Nicolas Cage's acting, especially. And here's one thing. If I'm going to have an open mind about anything, it would be change my mind. Nicolas Cage is a very bad actor.
Okay. Understood. You know what? He's an actor that I would say is not for everyone.
There you go.
For me, he's definitely hit or miss. I think I always enjoy seeing him just because he always just does a big swing. So I think I just always get what I want.
That's fair.
It's weird big swings. They're big swings. Like Ghost Rider, what? He committed to that so hard, it's stupid. Like
he was like, you know what? I guess I missed my shot at Superman, so I guess I'm gonna go all out for Ghost Rider.
To be Superman. I would have never changed my mind about that movie. That would have been bad. But him as Ghost Rider, look, is he good as Ghost Rider? No. I don't think he is.
No, he's not.
I don't think he's necessarily bad. I just don't think his personality doesn't fit that character. You know?
Yeah.
It's an odd choice. It's a real odd choice.
I'm trying to think of who he would even make as a good character.
Dracula, which is what he's doing.
I don't even know about that.
I'm excited to see him as Dracula.
I think he would make it like Sesame Street Dracula though. Where he'd be like,
yes.
2, 3.
I think I'm pretty sure you just did the owl from that lollipop commercial. But I think he would be the Gore. I love it. Gore. Yeah. I don't know if he'd really be good for anyone. At one point, he was in talks for Scarecrow, and I guess that could have been okay, potentially.
Where I fan cast him as Beast Boy.
As a kid, he probably would have been a good Beast Boy, wouldn't he? Because he's a fucking weird, odd duck of a man. Who's just a weird... He could have been a good Doctor Strange, actually.
Imagine Nicolas Cage.
I actually feel like he could have been...
Joker.
Okay. I'm not even going to talk about that. I feel like he could actually be a decent Doctor Strange.
You're onto something.
Because...
A sorcerer of a sort.
Benedict Cumberbatch is kind of too cool at the same time.
Isn't he?
A little bit.
He does that nerd cool thing.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy.
And I think Nicolas Cage would just be so weird that even... I can't imagine any of this...
That's funny. That might work.
I can't imagine any of the superheroes being like, oh, I'm going to see if Doctor Strange wants to tag along. I feel like he'd be somebody they'd try to avoid.
Yeah.
You know?
But he's like already beyond them, basically.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really bother
He doesn't
him.
give a fuck. He just sits at that window looking out at everybody.
That's funny. You know what? That could be funny.
Right,
that could be cool.
Right.
He actually might not be a bad Ant-Man.
Damn.
What?
He probably could be all right at Ant-Man. You're probably right about that.
I could see him as Ant-Man. That's I'm gonna draw the line there.
I don't know.
Nicolas Cage is now Ant-Man.
I don't think he could really be any villains though. Because he kind of just seems...
He's too goofy.
I think his voice is just a bit too dumb.
If they did Paul Rudd's... Paul Rudd's. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Ant-Man, but made it just Nicolas Cage,
he probably
it would
could
work.
All right. God, this could be a whole podcast. What could Nicolas Cage do in the superhero realm? Not a lot, it turns out, actually. You know what he could be? He could be the Spot.
Let's just leave him as Spider-Man Noir and move on.
He is very good at that, actually,
you know
for the voice. He's perfect for that, actually.
Ghost Rider. Never changed my mind on it. Did you?
I liked it a lot as a kid.
That's funny.
As a kid, though, there weren't a lot of movies that I didn't like. I liked pretty much everything. But as time goes on, I tried to watch my favorite clip from Ghost Rider when I was a kid, which was the scene where he transforms and he's like, ah, and whatever. You know? And I rewatched it and I was like, oh, this is bad. You know?
It's not... I think we're like mature enough as far as film reviewers that we're able to see past things like CG of the time.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not that.
Yeah,
it's not that. It's
even
just,
the action. I don't.
Just bad
really
writing.
It's just a weird movie.
Weird movie, bad acting, bad writing, bad direction. It's just not good.
The coolest thing about him, I actually like the look of Ghost Rider. I actually think that's pretty good.
I agree with that.
When he's flamed up and everything.
That was half of the... That was 95% of the promotion of that movie was just his look.
Him looking, right.
I think that's what they put all their time into, and then they went, wait, we're supposed to make a story, though?
I even like some of the moments where he's, like, riding his bike. These are some moments, actually, like, where he's, like, riding the bike up, like, a building, and he's swinging the chain, trying to get a wind man, you know?
Yeah. And then he creates like a circle with his chain and and the line or whatever. No, he just does donuts, I think.
Yeah. I could still picture that guy's voice where he's like, help me.
I know what he does. He puts his chain around a pole and then like and just keeps riding in a circle, remember?
Does he?
I swear to you. And then makes like a fire ring.
Oh yeah, I feel like I do remember the fire ring. Yeah,
I swear
actually.
that's what he does.
That's so goofy.
It's so bad.
You know what I love the moments with Mephisto where he's always in his ear being like, "Forget about love."
Can we get a real Mephisto, by the way?
I kind of like that
good
guy.
Mephisto.
I think that guy was a good Mephisto. He just doesn't look. Like comic accurate. Mephisto.
Comic Mephisto.
Apparently, Sacha Baron Cohen is going to be Mephisto. If you don't know him, he's the French guy from Talladega Nights, and he's also Borat.
That's funny, and also, you know what? That would work.
Yeah.
I could see him as Mephisto.
Yeah, he seems like, you know what he seems like? I'll say it again. I mentioned this with Black Mask. He seems like an orgy man. Tell me that's not a Mephisto who's like, it's like, I like to have sex with all my slaves or whatever. Am I wrong? Now, am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong.
Thank you.
He is a real Ghost Rider.
I have. Sometimes you say some shit that catches me off guard. And that was one of them. The Amazing Spider-Man movies, I put down specifically that I hate them now.
You hate them now.
I thought I liked them as a kid.
Me too.
Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Dad, this is a real Peter Parker now. We're finally getting one that's not 30 years old.
Going into, which is funny because he was older than Tobey Maguire
I know.
when he started.
But he seems like a teenager.
Yes.
So I'll give it to him.
Going into those movies, I liked Amazing Spider-Man 1, but I didn't love it just because I didn't love the lizard.
Yeah.
But Amazing Spider-Man 2, I liked a lot for some reason. I liked it a lot more than Amazing Spider-Man 1. But looking back, like I would rewatch those movies. I liked them. But now looking back, I don't really want to watch either of those. It's just...
No.
And even like...
Especially the second one.
I'd rather rewatch the second one.
Really?
Because at least it's more funny, you know?
Like more fun, just like...
It's fun.
It's more like an amusement ride.
There's at least nonstop action and jokes.
You know what? I would rather watch the second one too.
The stuff with him and Gwen, I think, is actually pretty good. Amazing Spider-Man 2. But Amazing Spider-Man 1, I know this for a fact. It's a better movie, but it's so boring.
It's boring.
Half of it is boring as hell.
And him doing dumb stuff like dunking and smashing the... That's one of the dumbest scenes of that whole movie.
That whole origin shit needs to go.
It's just the fact that, like, okay, we're getting an origin again. Okay, whatever. But they did the origin, like, all wrong.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a kid nobody likes.
Yeah.
And then he's like this popular kid that's like, I'm going to dunk on you now, buddy.
I'm a skater boy. I like to skate.
I'm a skater boy. And I like to go to this like big like pipe thing that's by the arbor and try and cruise around in it.
Yeah. And let me say this too before we get too far as well. I think Andrew Garfield is great. He may actually be the best of the three, but just got fucked in the worst movies.
Yeah, maybe.
His Peter Parker's not as good as Tom Holland.
Everybody thinks they're going to bring him back for like movies. And I don't
think he'll sign up to be with Sony because
I don't think he wants to do it.
No Way Home I understand, but going back to do anything with Sony right now,
they keep proving themselves that they're just not good.
They're not worth working for.
How do you come out with Morbius and flop that?
And go, hey, Andrew, you want to come back?
Well,
no.
I don't know why I'm asking how you flop that. I feel like Morbius was a flop before it ever even came out.
Well, I don't know why they tried. I did not believe that movie was coming out, even with trailers in theaters. I was like, I cannot believe this is happening.
Isn't that one that felt like
it shouldn't have happened?
This is so off.
Why does that one get through? But you cancel your fucking Batgirls and whatever. Weird.
You know what I just thought about?
Huh.
How many times are we going to get characters in the MCU that just pop up in end credits and are done nothing with?
A lot.
I just thought about that. Think about like the whole Blade thing. We still have yet to see anything about that. Mm-hmm. At the end of Eternals? Why is that in Eternals?
Let me go back further to one that they brought up that never paid off. Scorpion.
Yeah, we know. I know.
And I think still waiting for that.
I think they are bringing him back, though.
I think that, well, you can't. Michael Mando is so popular right now because of Better Call Saul and shit. You have to bring him back. Yeah, he's great in that, by the way. Yeah, there's probably even more that we're forgetting about, like teases of villains and whatever. Think about, they teased Mr. Sinister.
They have Harry Styles come in at the end, too.
They had Harry Styles coming in.
What are you doing, buddy?
There's so much of that shit.
What was just this last one? Well, there was Kang. Mm-hmm. But there was one like in Thor: Love and Thunder, I thought.
Thor: Love and Thunder. The post credits for that, one of them was whenever Jane goes to Valhalla, and
now Doctor Strange is going to like Dormammu again.
oh right, yeah.
There's that.
Yep. Oh man,
This is a whole different topic.
this is a whole topic that could be.
We could talk about this.
They're only just now paying off the leader from Hulk, Incredible Hulk.
Oh my God.
Remember Tim Blake Nelson got the big head, and then they cut away from it or whatever.
No, I don't remember that part.
In the Incredible Hulk,
Was the leader? Did he show up in She-Hulk?
No, he didn't.
He should have.
Right? Well, he's coming up in Captain America: New World Order. That's where he's coming back. But in Incredible Hulk, he was in that movie as, remember, he was Mr. Blue or whatever. He was texting with Bruce Banner, and he was the guy who tried to
remember him.
He tried to cure Bruce of his disease or whatever. But he was just a regular man. Yeah, so he wasn't green and had the mustache or whatever yet. But what happens is he gets some of that shit, some of Bruce's shit on him whenever the Abomination breaks out in a fight or whatever, and then we just never see what happens after that. We never get to see him as the leader, but he's coming back. It's the guy that plays Looking Glass, Tim Blake Nelson.
It's Looking Glass.
Is Looking
Is
Glass.
it really?
Yeah.
That's him, the leader?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Whatever.
I like him as an actor, but
Yeah.
I just can't imagine him anything other than this.
It's kind of weird because he the person I would have picked for the leader, I mean, it may not be the best.
It should have been
cast in the world,
Megamind.
but I could have done like a
Wait,
what's his name?
Who did Megamind?
Will Ferrell.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's just bring Will Ferrell
God,
in.
what's his name? I need to figure out what it is right now. He's the guy from Law and Order. Christopher Maloney.
That was fast.
Or like maybe who's that other? I had somebody else in mind. It's the guy that It's the guy that plays the villain in Shazam. Mark Stroman, something like that. I can't remember what it is. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's somebody that I would have picked. But Tim Blake Nelson, that's kind of an odd choice. But whatever. That was also like 2009. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And back then, casting was not Mark Strong. That's what it is. Casting wasn't as strong back then, but still, it's fine. Anyways, Amazing Spider-Man movies. I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate that version of Green Goblin. I think he was an actual good actor for that. I just think the suit looks like shit. The motivations are shit. The all around that character is shit. But I love his laugh. His laugh is
that's
good.
It is good, actually.
I actually think I like it more than Willem Dafoe's laugh. Because his laugh actually freaks me the fuck out in Amazing Spider-Man 2. It seems more...
They have better processing, though, today with that kind of thing. Like, they can really put some effects on it.
It's more evil and creepy.
Yeah.
And Willem Dafoe's is more like, ooh, I'm the Green Goblin, you know? He's like a little witchy...
That's true, but I feel like that's more, if you're going for the comics, like, that's probably
It's classic, you know? Yeah. And then also, Fantastic Four. You remember watching that together?
2015?
Yeah.
I didn't change my mind on it. It's bad.
I liked it when I saw it in theaters.
No,
and then the first time I watched it out of theaters, I thought it was pretty bad. Suicide Squad, I loved that in theaters.
I don't like it anymore.
I still like that movie, but it's not good. I thought it was good. It's not good.
Justice League.
I actually did like
Which one?
The Whedon cut.
No way.
At first. But you know what? Even at the time, I admitted that it was not a great movie. But I just loved it because I was like, oh, it's the Justice League.
They're all together.
They're all together. That's what it was.
It's like DC's version of Avengers.
I was just happy that I got to see Aquaman and Flash and Cyborg. That's all I cared about.
Yeah.
But that's not enough. That's a terrible bar to set. That movie is terrible.
They should have made a solo Cyborg movie. That'd have been good.
There was supposed to be, but it's not happening anymore.
I know, I heard.
Which is balls. It was actually going to be, at one point they were considering doing a Flash Cyborg combined movie, but that's obviously not happening. They're not big fans of Ray Fisher.
Yeah.
One of the last few ones I wanted to talk about. Homecoming, I didn't like it at first. And then...
Really?
But it was because I was like, I feel like there's not enough Spider-Man stuff in this. And I still do kind of feel that way still. But I appreciate that they took the focus away from Spider-Man and actually made it about something.
Hey,
not that the Raimi movies weren't.
Credit to them for not doing the origins again.
Mm-hmm. Credit to that. And like, I also didn't get what I wanted out of a Vulture Spider-Man fight.
That's true.
That was another
Until the very
massive
again,
issue.
I'll say it again. Until the very end on the beach. Now that's a good spot.
I
Sorry.
just wish they would have had an actual fight and then they had the beach scene,
You're talking about like probably flying around the city, I'm assuming, like swinging around.
like him
That'd be
chasing
cool.
the Vulture or something. Mm-hmm. You know what bothers me in that
Can't
movie
believe we
though?
didn't get that. Yeah.
They put Spider-Man in some very weird areas where he can't really be Spider-Man that much.
Yeah.
He's in DC around like the fucking Washington
Where
Monument.
the tallest building has to be the monument, by the way. So every building in DC, if you ever go there, is tiny.
They had him on a ferry. They had him in like Queens in a rural area where it's all suburbs and shit. Which I get. We should see what Spider-Man's like in lower areas and things like that.
That's not how we see Spider-Man, though.
Yeah.
For a reason, by the way.
For a good reason. Because it's not very interesting.
First of all, with this version of Spider-Man, we haven't gotten him zinging around the city.
We haven't.
Please, for the love of everything, do that in these next ones.
We hardly haven't gotten a Spider-Man swinging scene.
Now that they're going back to like this classical look of Spider-Man,
I think they're going to bring it back in the way it should
just bring him swinging.
He probably moved to Manhattan. That's probably the idea, is that he moved into Manhattan.
I think it is.
Yeah.
But also, you don't have to be in Manhattan to be able to swing around Brooklyn or Queens.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. They put him in some weird areas. I think there should have been the one scene, which actually works for comedy, but it does show that other side of Spider-Man, where he goes to Web and he's like, oh fuck, there's nothing there, and he has to run. That's funny and interesting. Yeah. But if they just did that and the rest of it was him actually being in other places, it would have shown a stark contrast of like why Spider-Man needs to be in bigger cities.
Does he ever seem a little too small?
Yes.
As Spider-Man.
In that
Spider-Man's
movie.
Pretty lanky in the comics.
He's a bit taller, yeah.
He's tall and just kind of big, actually.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Like I always imagine him sitting on like the like a goalie or whatever they're called on top of a building and just like kind of stalking. He's pretty big in those shots.
I think Andrew Garfield has the best Spider-Man build.
I think if he was a little bit more built.
He should have, if he was a bit more built, he'd be perfect.
Yeah.
And like, I hate to say it, but Drake Bell, the pedophile. Back in the day, I wanted him to, I don't know if I wanted him to be Spider-Man, but
I think his personality isn't great for Peter, but yeah. I think he has the build and the look.
I think the look, especially, he reminded me of Ultimate Spider-Man, which is funny because that's the cartoon that he voiced him in. But like, he could have made that like part work. You know how sometimes Peter has that part in his head where his hair kind of falls like this. You know?
Yeah.
I think he could have pulled that off.
That's like his classic look,
right?
Is whenever he has that like part thing. I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm talking about like the Ultimate Spider-Man, where it hangs down.
Sorry. Yeah,
parts and like hangs down. You know, it's kind of like bangs in a way.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Jake could have done that for sure.
Yeah. And then Batman and Robin. That's my last one.
There's one before this. There's one before this.
Oh, I skipped over it. Sorry.
Well, there's Watchmen. Mm-hmm. I want to get to one while we're still in this vein, though.
Okay.
Because you didn't put it in here, and I think we definitely changed our mind on No Way Home.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the big ones that I meant to put in here.
Yeah.
How did I forget that? I still like that movie. I'm not saying I don't like it. I
want to rewatch it, actually.
Yeah.
I would rewatch that tonight because I just want to watch it again.
Just to
revamp up on it because I didn't like it after watching it for like the third time. And it wasn't like I don't like dislike it. It was more like this feels like a lot of just fan service and that's about it.
Which is because I wanted fan service.
Again,
I'm kind of wondering if it's one of those situations where it's like, did I know what I wanted?
Again, you're taking now 3 Spider-Men and putting them in a spot where they can't be Spider-Man. Again.
Yeah. Yes.
Statue of Liberty. Why? That's one thing they can do with scaffolding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think
that's like the scene everybody knows is the whole end scene there.
I think what should have happened is Tom Holland should have had his own movie, and they just made a Spider-Verse movie. Instead of maybe trying to throw all those things together, because I think it was far too much in hindsight, you know? And again, I still love that movie. I still like that movie.
Yeah.
And I love things about it. I love seeing Andrew and Toby back. I love seeing the villains back. I love the nostalgia parts of it, but when it's past that, like what's
the substance?
is here, you know?
Yeah.
And I like the whole Peter losing his friends and his identity and stuff. That whole thing is good and sad. But everything leading up to that is kind of like, you know, Doctor Strange and trying to catch bad guys. And
I don't like the catching bad guys whole thing.
I don't like
that
either.
I don't think it works. I think it makes it too humorous for villains, by the way, that were really creepy as a kid.
I think
And
No Way
still
Home
are, honestly.
is too humorous in parts. And I think you know what works about those Toby Andrews scenes is that it happens right after the tragedy of, you know, spoiler alert, Aunt May dying. Yeah. I think that's why it works is because I think it makes us all feel kind of good inside because it's like, okay, at least he has buddies and his friends are with him. Like, because you feel bad for Peter.
Yeah.
But before
that's why that works there.
Before that, he's just like, oh man, I want to go to college. Oh man, oh hi, Mr. Helicopter. I'm fighting a big octopus man. I wish they'd take that part a little more seriously too, you know.
Yeah. And the whole bridge scene with him and Doc Ock, I hate it.
I don't think I like it either.
I hate it.
You know, and it also bums
good.
me out that he doesn't fight Doc Ock in the end. You know. You know, because he fights Doc Ock.
He doesn't.
And that's it. And then in the ending, he just fights 3 of them. They fight 3 of them at a time. Green Goblin shows up after. That's a big problem I have. The last fight with Green Goblin sucks.
Oh my God, is it bad?
Sucks. It's nothing.
He's just punching him on a shield.
Well,
isn't it the fallen over shield?
Yeah.
Of the Statue of Liberty or whatever?
Well, I know what they're doing is they're saying, well, the big fight scene that you want between those two was the apartment scene. But he wasn't goblined up, really. It was just a man in a hoodie and a kid in a spandex suit, barely using any powers, punching each other. He barely used bombs, barely used the glider. He barely used any of his assets that the Green Goblin is known for. Having a punch-up between Green Goblin and Spider-Man is not interesting.
No.
It's
supposed to be all gadgety and stuff, you know what I mean?
At least with...
I wanted to see Green Goblin's new gadgets. They even said, Willem Dafoe said himself, he's like, let's just say I got some new gadgets or whatever. Something like that. No, not really, buddy.
But he also said that he wanted to do his own stunts, too.
Did he?
Yeah. In a way. So,
yeah, but I mean... If he can't do like the big ones, if they wanted to write big ones, that's fine.
Well, he still had a stunt double for some things. You could because the set leak of what the outfit looks like in the end came from the guy that plays Taskmaster before they CGI in that girl. That same guy was the stunt double for Green Goblin, and and also I think we both feel the same way. We missed the mask. They got rid of the mask. That's a bummer.
Way early on.
That's
for what reason?
Real bummer. And it was CGI too and looked terrible.
Yeah, it was so smooth.
Oh.
Where's the original? Make a replica.
They have that shit in glass cases. Just pull it out, bro.
Somebody made this at some point. It could be remade.
It can be remade. And you know what I bet
have
it was?
The budget.
Is time effective. I guarantee that's what it was, is that it was time effective.
That probably would not even make a dent in the amount of time that goes into the CGI of making that.
True. Yeah, true. So, yeah, a lot of Green Goblin stuff was... Because Willem Dafoe plays it so good. I know. But when it comes to the action and things like that, in my opinion, it fucking falls short. It's a disservice. It is. Yeah. But anyway, yeah,
let's hit...
I'm so conflicted on that movie.
Let's hit one more before the last one. Let's get this Watchmen in there. What are you thinking? I always liked this movie.
I didn't like it because I tried to watch it too young, and I didn't understand it. You know, I was 8 years old, 9 years old, watching it for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think my parents made me wait. My dad made me wait.
It's a good movie to watch when you're like 13 to 15.
That was one of those movies where they're like, no, Benny, you got to be 13 at least.
Good.
And honestly, good. Yeah.
I think the perfect time for me to watch that was 15, and I went, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
But because, you know, for me as a kid, I'm looking for superhero stuff. That movie's not really about superhero stuff, even though it's about superheroes.
Dude.
It's not about punching villains, you know?
I remember I turned like 13 the year Deadpool came out. And I was like, oh my God, my dad's actually taking me to watch this. It's like a rated R movie.
Yeah.
And then it got to the sex scene, and I was like, I was so embarrassed.
I know what you mean.
But my dad was just like, bro, you're 13, bro. Like, That kind of thing.
I'm gonna call
Get
my
over it.
grandpa out. We were watching Deadpool because I was like, Grandpa, I have loved Deadpool for years. There's finally a Deadpool movie. We need to go see it. And then he's like, all right, ask your sisters. I was like, what? No. And then my one sister wanted to go, and I was like, I kept telling them, I was like, why don't you just let me in? Like, tell them it's okay, I can watch it. And I watch it myself. And they're like, no, it's fine. I was like, it's rated R. He says bad words. Like, and then he's like, no, it'll be fine. Just hush. I'm an adult. It'll be fine. I remember in the theater that scene where they go to the strip club. It was either the strip club or it was
probably
National Women's Day. The National Women's Day scene where she has the strap on and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the strip club because it was just nudity that got him. And I remember looking over and he's dying laughing, but it's uncomfortable laughter. And he's like, ha, ha. And he looks at me and he goes, man, this is bad.
I got so red. I like covered my eyes like this. I was like, oh my God, Dad. Like, I didn't want to be seen like that.
Well, I couldn't even enjoy the movie to like its full extent because I kept looking at my grandpa to be like, are you okay?
Are you okay with this?
Are you gonna like make me leave or whatever?
Yeah.
And he thought it was funny. He was just like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have went to that. I was like, don't lie to me.
See, my dad wasn't like that. He was just like,
I was like, don't lie to me,
the
Grandpa.
opposite almost.
You fucked with it. You liked it.
Yeah.
He does. He likes it. He saw the second one, but
that was a fun experience in the theaters. That was my last like great experience in the theaters.
Really?
Because yes,
Endgame wasn't great for you.
it wasn't the same vibe because here's the deal. Mm-hmm. Deadpool was right on the cusp of before theaters went full-fledged into this freaking reserve your seating crap.
Yep.
So it was me and my dad got up there early after school, waited in line, got great seats in XD theater.
You remember shit like that.
And there was, back when XD theater was seats, I'm talking like not reserved seats, tons of seats. It seemed like a much bigger theater at that point. They would fill people. Remember that?
Were those reclined seats back then?
No.
That's probably why, because it takes up more space.
That's what I mean. Do you not remember XD theater before reclined?
I never went to a Tinseltown movie, like a movie in Tinseltown or Cinemark or whatever, until I was probably 15 or 16.
What?
When they already had the reclined seating. I never got to go there
You
before.
missed out on all of the first come, first serve?
Every movie I watched until I was about that age was at the fucking Quaker Cinema in our hometown. One time I watched Tron Legacy in 3D. That was the only time. That was inside of a mall. I don't even remember what fucking
Probably
mall.
Newtown Mall.
It might have been. Wait, it was Columbus area.
Oh, okay.
It was probably Easton because we went for an Indians game. It got, or no, was it? No, we were in Columbus. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was in a mall, but I don't even remember what the theater was, but I remember being blown the fuck away by that 3D.
I can't believe you missed out on that, man. There was a lot of seats.
Really?
I'm talking crazy amounts.
What you thought?
And it was packed for Deadpool.
Probably what you
sold out.
What you thought, or what should have been your IMAX experience.
Yes.
LIMAX experience.
Guys,
I'm telling you.
Guys, research if you're going to buy tickets to an AMC theater and it says IMAX. Oh, you're going to get IMAX experience. You're probably not. Research it. Mm-hmm. Call it LIMAX. Make sure that it's not. Oh my God, dude. We drove let's just put it this way. We drove 2.5 hours to go to a theater that was smaller than our hometown theater.
Yes, it was.
Because it had the IMAX label on it.
It was bullshit.
And I'm pretty sure all that meant for that theater in particular was the sound.
Which was still like whatever.
Which the sound was bad.
Great for
my opinion.
Great for trailers.
Great for trailers. And then Ant-Man came on and it was terrible.
In the movie, I don't remember it a whole lot, but I remember being like, whatever.
It just like
nothing special about it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That bothered me.
Yeah, I'll never
Don't call
forget
it IMAX.
watching Joker in IMAX. Real IMAX.
With huge.
Hundreds of seats.
Yes.
Like at least 200 seats.
Yes.
Man, that thing was huge. And I watched it in New York.
That's
IMAX.
fun stuff.
That was perfect. I got to see Joker opening like the 3rd of October, even though it came out the 4th. The 3rd of October, packed IMAX theater in New York during Comic-Con week, dude. It was awesome.
You know what's funny? I'm pretty sure I saw Dark Knight in IMAX, which was
You
really
are
cool.
a fucker for that.
Which was really, really cool.
I only got to see that in theaters once because my grandparents refused to take me. And I kept telling them, I was like, guys, this doesn't scare me. This is a good movie. It's Batman. And they'd be like, nope, Joker's scary. And I'm like, it might fucking scare you, you pussy. Take me back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I watched it in theaters, but I don't hardly remember watching it in theaters, funnily enough.
Yeah, it's just like a kind of a blur for me.
Yeah. Can't remember any of that stuff. I watched Batman Begins in theaters too. Don't remember that.
Corey, what was our last one here we got?
Batman and Robin. I loved it as a kid. It was my favorite one. But you know why? You know why it was my favorite one? Because Batman and Forever was my second favorite. Because Batman and Forever introduces Robin, and he gets
And this time you actually get Robin.
You get Robin at the beginning and not just the end. You get him from the beginning to the end.
Too bad it's a terrible Robin.
It's a terrible Robin. It's a terrible movie. I love the Batman Forever suit. I was thinking about buying the Hot Toys figure the other day. I didn't because I watched a guy who's like, here's the figure. It looks good, right? And he moved it around. The like weird rubber like material it has, when you move his arms any which way, it folds weird. And it looks dumb. Looks real dumb.
That's what I hate about the Hot Toys kind of figures.
Yeah.
If you move them, they fold weird.
It's weird. Yeah. So I was like, maybe I won't.
That's the problem with doing that like skin like material.
Well, the other thing too is it's like
a
it's not
silicone.
it's the material. The costume is rubber.
Oh yeah.
It's got like whenever you move the arm up, it has like a weird like it gets big here and then dense and gets,
that's what I mean.
You know,
it like
yeah,
it makes it all
and even the
bubbly
real
and stuff.
suit, like they try to make it realistically, but in the movie the suit's pretty tight. Like it doesn't do it that much, if really at all. So I was kind of bummed, but I'm thinking about still getting it. I'm like, whatever. It's just, I'm not going to play with it. Like I wouldn't move it anyway. You know, I'm not going to move it anyway. So maybe it'll sit there, but it's like $600. So probably.
Oh
not.
my God, not worth it.
Yeah, or maybe it's like 200. I don't know. It's expensive.
Hot Toys are expensive, my guy.
Sure are. Ben, I got to go to sleep.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, we almost didn't do this, so. Gonna cry? No.
I don't think I'm allowed to do that.
'Cause we're here.
I think that's only you. Listen.
I can do half of one.
If you what is that? Like this?
It's like
Or yeah. Whatever.
like
Anyways, guys, if you liked what
move your finger.
if you liked what you heard today,
Probably didn't.
that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Check us out at Issue One Podcast everywhere. If you want to email us, contact us for some ideas, or you have honestly any business inquiries, email us at issueonepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, we had a little business inquiry today. We won't talk about it, but
we'll
we did.
talk about it later. We will. You know what? We're gonna cement this whole idea, and
Yes,
then we'll talk about it later.
absolutely.
There's some exciting stuff coming. So
Very exciting.
yeah. So check us out. Follow us, subscribe. If you want to see us, you can watch this full podcast on YouTube now. So this is our new segment going on.
Yep, absolutely.
Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Thank you. This was great.
This was great. You stole my line.
Sorry.